Aloha, this is Santa Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Monday evening, October 27th, 2025. This is my second podcast. The first one was dated for October 26th. Today, this one is dated for October 27th. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to dive right in. Thanks so much for joining us on Locals and on X. I'm going to try to put a little bit more unique content out there for X subscribers. If you want to find out who's the real Santa Surfing or Beach Broadcast, just these are the only accounts I have. I don't have any other accounts. All my daily shows are on YouTube and my past shows are on Rumble. This is going to be kind of an overview. There's so much going on, I can't even keep up. This is Zhao, the Binance founder that got a pardon from President Trump. He hints Trump is Satoshi. Oh my gosh. Ripple Prime is swift on steroids and power back to you, the people. This is the banner that that Ripple has posted on Bull. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a receipt, there's Bull, there's a time clock of 3:30. So many different comms. Everybody's dropping comms now. It's just crazy. So now let me just start with the big banks. They're on CPR. My guess is that some big banks, again, this is not financial advice, not any advice, not nothing. It's only my opinion only. Big banks must be, they are missing out on their laundered money operation, cartel account holders, criminal enterprise funds, blah, 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 their requirements for the Basel III standards, and exposed for their naked or their short or naked short positions on just about everything. Now, I imagine they're dealing with a lot of the ring, hello, take my margin calls. They're getting margin called to oblivion. Excuse me, I can't even talk. I'm so excited. I told you I was going to start giggling in this one. I'm very excited about this because it really boils down to, something great. I have played this before. This is Eric Trump. You can click on this. This is for your own library of information. But he has hinted on many financial messages. President Trump, he does the worldwide messages. Don Jr. does his own podcast. Eric Trump, he's posting stuff about financial news. He's spelling it out. Bottom line is Eric Trump in this clip, he says he wants the big banks gone and irrelevant. Oh my gosh. Then he has posted in the past about, this is one of the posts he had posted. It's a mic drop. So he's just posting this, a mic drop, and it was a post of Bitcoin. Fun fact, Bitcoin is up. No, this was dated back in October 3rd, so it was earlier this month. But Bitcoin is up over 10% since Eric Trump tweeted, buy the dips last week. Okay, so there's this, buy the dips. That was October 3rd. Now, September 26th, again, Eric Trump posted this, buy the dips. Other hints, this is posted by Justin Wu. Eric Trump recorded in 2025 on February 25th, buy dips, crash. August 2nd, buy dips, crash. August 17th, buy dips, crash. And then 27th or the 26th, actually, buy dips, crash, meaning that he wrote buy the dips and then there was a crash. Okay, so again, Eric Trump is because they probably can see through their little system or so that what the big banks, financial central banks, the desperate central banks are doing. So they're just going out there and he is just making it very clear to buy the dips. Let me say it again, buy the dips, buy the dips, buy the dips. Okay, so those are big. Now, Zhao, the founder of Binance, who was recently pardoned by President Trump, he posted this big doozy over the weekend. So he came out and he says, President Trump said he believes he has never met me, which is true. Would be my honor to someday. I feel the same way, Zhao. Really, I would love to meet President Trump. But he wrote this, President Trump and Satoshi might be the same person, period. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So those of you that are you're not familiar with what that means. The mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, this group or person developed Bitcoin. Now, is Satoshi Nakamoto President Trump? Nobody. He's like an anonymous, mysterious person. So just kind of giving it an idea, Satoshi Nakamoto is the name used by presumed pseudonym person or persons who developed Bitcoin, authored the Bitcoin white paper, and created and deployed Bitcoin's original reference implementation. Oh my gosh. Okay. So July 11th, 2019, President Trump, he posted this, and this is what had me confused because I was like, I truly am following his lead on many things. He wrote, I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. And I had to look at this with a different set of eyes. Here it is. 6 years later. He wrote, I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity. That was posted in 2019, 2 years into his presidency. Okay. Remember, he already did his world tours in 2017, 2018. In 2018 is when he had the UK, the Queen E, practically holding his golf bags while he was inspecting the guards, right? Remember that. Okay. 2017, he did the world tour. 2018, he visited other countries, other nations, and got countries to capitulate, to say, yes, that was on my last podcast on how nations really are thriving because of that. Now, so this tweet confused me for years, but then understanding now a little bit more about, because at that same time, Q was dropping bombs, so I was really involved in the Q posts. But remember one thing Q had says is we have it all. All right, so I'll get to that in a moment. So was President Trump, again, was he, and we realize this now, was he baiting the bad people, the swamp people? And they're saying, oh, well, he doesn't like Bitcoin and other crypto, so let's just keep using it for our illegal acts, right? I have to try to remember he plays 10D chess even when it comes to posting. I was like, oh my gosh. So that, now looking at it in retrospect, here in 2025, on October 27th of 2025, was this so that he can let them know, hey, so because you know how they resist him. So they'll be like, oh, let's just keep using Bitcoin, or let's keep using crypto, at the time, unregulated crypto, and let's just keep using that. And then he is like, okay, I got my Space Force going. Go ahead, keep using it. But the tweet, it confused me. Bitcoin, dark money, it was used. But in retrospect, let's look at the timing of it all. Was it a huge trap to catch the swamp monsters? Swamp monsters back in the day, they used dark web places for their criminal activity. Backpage was one of them. It was an advertising, quote unquote advertising, it was like ads, like what when you used to get a newspaper and you have all these classified ads, right? Okay, it was kind of like that, kind of like Craigslist. But the swamp monsters used this one particular one, Backpage, and it was shut down and seized by President Trump's FBI in 2018. So how were transactions made? They used crypto. Did President Trump plant traps before he became president? Here's Backpage was shut down 2018 when federal authorities seized the website. The indictment against the co-founders were sealed on April 9th of 2018, charging them with money laundering, knowingly facilitating prostitution. The site CEO, Carl Ferrer, and other executives are also charged as part of the 93-count indictment. 93 counts. A little bit from Wikipedia, which has kind of not gotten so liberal. Backpage was seized by the FBI and other federal agencies. And then talked about Lacey, one of the co-founders, was arrested at gunpoint that day at his home in Paradise Valley. Larkin, the other co-founder, was arrested at an airport in Phoenix before exiting the plane, having returned from an overseas trip. Lacey was charged with money laundering and violations of the Travel Act. The CEO, Carl Ferrer, he pled guilty to the charges and acknowledging that the great majority of adult advertisements on Backpage were actual advertisements for prostitution. He has agreed to testify against the co-conspirators, but not limited to just the founders. Backpage also pled guilty to human trafficking. Okay, now that was pretty big news, but again, the media, the dirty, ugly, just fake news media didn't make that the headline news, right? Because they always like to support their criminal buddies. So that's the fake news people, that is. Since the dark website gave all of its data to law enforcement, did President Trump use that? Look at this, okay? I'm getting some information. I've helped. Remember, I tell the people on locals, I've shelved quite a few things until it starts to become public. So I shelved stuff. This is one of the things I shelved. President Trump, he began cooperating with the FBI as early as 1981, when he and his brother Robert raised concerns about organized crime activity in Atlantic City and discussed plans to build a casino there. During this time period, Trump offered to fully cooperate, in quotes, with the FBI, and even suggested placing undercover agents with the proposed casino to monitor potential mob infiltration. Who did the FBI catch last week? The three mafia families as part of a gambling ring, okay? An FBI memo from the 1981 documents that Trump advised agents he had heard from various sources that organized crime elements were operating in Atlantic City and expressed willingness to assist the Bureau. The agents indicated they would be open to further discussions if Trump moved forward with the project. Do you see where this is going, guys? And then back in February of 2021 is when we are witness here. Let me just show this here. Here you go. The implosion of Taj Mahal, the Trump casino in Atlantic City. Look at that. Boom. Now that we know how President Trump works and really, really works in trapping a lot of people with his 10D chess moves, you can read in between the lines of all of that, right? So let's go fast forward. President Trump and his team, they extracted information on human trafficking and expedited their fate very quickly, right? He also used it to fund the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Remember, they used a lot of those bad people used Bitcoin. They didn't want to have a money trail in their bank accounts. So they were using other types of assets or other types of currency for their very horrible crimes against humanity deals. The Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, established through an executive order in March of 2025, was the primary funding source between Bitcoin seized by federal agencies through criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. So when people are saying nothing is happening, well, something did happen, and it funded the strategic reserve. So now let's talk a little bit about the swamp monsters, okay? Kirill, all right? This is President Putin's right-hand person here. He's dropping a lot of hints. He's hinting that Obama, Mike Pompeo, Andrew Weissman, Jack Smith, Kamala Harris are in exile. Check this out. So he's responding to Svetlana Lokhova's post where she posted, recently spotted in London in order of appearance, Pompeo, Obama, Obama again, Obama the third time, Andrew Weissman, Jack Smith, Kamala Harris. Well, then he replies with, excuse me, I have to go back a page. He replies, so he reposts that and he wrote, they want to set up a government in exile? All right, so you see where I'm going? How can people in exile try to set up a government? And I wrote, you went there. Okay, I was just responding. He wrote, they went there. Oh my God. All right, so there he's making it very clear. And I highly encourage you to follow his account, and you can click on that link here. But he's dropping tons of bombs in this account every day, all day. So this is where it's going to get very interesting. Okay, catching the swamp is a big part of this, but taking down the traditional financial system that enslaved us is next. Remember, the swamp, they're all about money, power, money, power, money, power. Oh, we get big pharma donations. We're going to support you. We get donations from big banks. We're going to support you. Not really caring what it did to you, me, the everyday person, right? So President Trump, has he been preparing for this moment all his life? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. This is where the power of the people comes into play. So what does this mean? Ripple is expanding. Many other people or businesses in the crypto space are giving big hints of what is coming. Here we have Larry Fink. He says he can't talk about it. Somebody asked him about XRP, and he says, I can't talk about it. And he's like, you can't or you won't. And he didn't say anything. Okay, let me play it for you.
How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right. They're giving me the rap. Thank you,
Charlie.
How about an XRP?
Okay, so that's an XRP ETF, meaning it is a fund. It is like, it's an ETF. ETFs have different kinds of, they either have it's based on the size of the business or what kind of cap industry is in there, or it's based on industries. So is it going to be for the minerals or for energy? Okay, see where I'm going? If there's a crypto ETF, so people that don't necessarily invest in they don't have a wallet, they don't want a wallet, they don't want to go there, but they're really interested in knowing what's it all about. How can we invest? How can I go on my traditional brokerage account and invest in these things without having to open up a wallet? Okay, see where I'm going? So these ETFs, they're opening up. Now, this was on September 23rd of 2025. Back then, there were 20, 22, 26 listings. I can't remember, 20 to 26 listings of companies that were waiting for the SEC to approve them to have an ETF so that it could exchange on the on NASDAQ or one of the stock exchanges. Then recently, 2.5 weeks ago, the SEC came back and said, we're not going to go ahead and go through all of these. They're going to go through the regulations, yes, but they're going to expedite the applications quickly. Okay, that tells me they're moving the clock a little bit faster. So what does this mean? Well, let me just share a little bit about, for an example, this one, Grayscale. They opened up their crypto ETF, the first multi-asset crypto fund in the USA. They rang the opening bell last Friday. All right, so those are one of many. Is Larry Fink opening an ETF, right? Okay, so let me just kind of walk you through this, because this is where it gets really, really exciting for all of us. Ripple Prime, they launched also on Thursday, Friday. It's Swift on steroids. I went ahead and asked Grok, and it says, I go, bottom line, what is it? Swift on steroids. It's for institutions. However, when it rolls out to the consumer, and I'm going to play a Brad Garlinghouse clip, it kind of explains it for you. You can use an institution to wire transfer funds in seconds, and it parks it in XRP just for seconds, and then it opts to go into either your wallet or transfers to a bank account. That's how it would work. Western Union, people want to send money overseas to their families, loved ones, whatever. They can go ahead and go to let's say a 7-Eleven, and 7-Eleven has signed up with Ripple Prime. Okay, 7-Eleven, let's say that is the institution. They signed up with Ripple Prime. They no longer have, let's say they don't have Western Union available. Somebody goes to Ripple Prime, they want to transfer money over to somebody in Vietnam, let's say. So they transfer money to Vietnam. It automatically goes to XRP, and then the receiver can say, I want it in my wallet. I wanted it. You tell it what you want. Or I want to transfer it into a Vietnam dong. All right, that's how it works. So today, at the mercy of the big banks and their process, and you pray that you don't get debanked like I did. There's the sender, there's the bank, there's me, there's Coinbase, and then there's XRP. That's how I can get it to XRP. This is how quick it is for us. What's coming, and with this Ripple Prime, any institution that has the Ripple Prime, it's the sender, it goes through, they use Ripple Prime, and it goes directly into XRP, and the wallet itself isn't necessary, just goes straight to XRP. So what that means is just about every major transaction on Ripple Prime, it uses XRP, period. Okay, it's your wallet in 3 seconds, pennies, no permission needed. In this case here, it's 5 steps, 4 days, fees, drama, and praying you don't get debanked. All right, here is a very good explanation of what Ripple Prime is all about. Now, while you're sitting there going, rolling your eyes, probably saying, where is she going with this? It's going back to you, power to you, the people. So stay with me, please stay with me.
Prime Broker is really a one-stop shop that allows all kinds of different asset managers, whether these are well-known hedge funds, trading desks, market makers. It gives them a one-stop shop venue to trade and clear everything from digital assets, derivatives, swaps, all kinds of different assets. And these guys are doing trillions of dollars of trades. Historically, those have been really owned by the traditional commercial banks, the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs. Banks now new players like Hidden Road, a company Ripple bought recently, is new to this space, and they're growing very quickly by serving that same market, but also including digital assets as part of the mix. Having a well-capitalized, a super strong balance sheet player like Hidden Road is allowing more institutions to come into these asset classes against a well-capitalized counterparty, and that is Prime Brokers bringing people into crypto in 1 minute.
One-stop shop, guys, and it parks in XRP for seconds. So can you see the value of XRP? I'm not promoting XRP. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just sharing the value of this, guys. I don't talk about things to my audience unless I do it myself. Solana, posted this yesterday, and it was posted at 5:00 p.m. Okay. Big, seriously weak. Okay. Now 500, Q500 is pretty big itself, but I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to stay with this. This is what they posted today. Solana is going to have their own ETFs as well. It's happening. Okay, that's all they posted. It's just thought I'd share it with you. So how does this give power to you, we the people, right? You are a huge part of the formation of the we the people financial system. Think of the Federal Reserve back in 1913 when those dirty crooks went to, Jekyll Island and they formed their central bank. We were never offered to be a part of that central bank formation. We were never offered to invest in Federal Reserve central banks since its inception. We were never given the freedom to buy large ticket items without getting a loan and having to pay their interest. We were never a part of that. They kept that from us because they wanted to line their own pockets. And President Trump saying, I don't think so. So here are, in 2020, the new financial golden era age is rolling out, and you are now a big part of it. You have opportunities to be a part of this movement. Now, if XRP is at such a low price, is that for a reason? Does President Trump or the Trump family, or are they hinting that to get in? Again, not financial advice, not Trump advice, not nothing, okay? But just are they hinting that to be a part of something a monumental change that the founders of that 1913 central banks never offered us? Again, do you see the difference? This is the paradigm shift. These dirty central bank founders never shared their path to prosperity ever. Whereas you, the person posting on X or Truth or Instagram or TikTok, and you're going, hey, buy this, buy that, do this, do that. Because that person's doing it themselves. They're seeing their own investment portfolio grow. They want you to be a part of it, and they're not asking for a dime for that information. They're just sharing it with you. So you, the person, freely sharing what you're doing to help enrich the people of the world, never asking for a dime, just wanting to see people prosper, all right? When we first started talking about gold and silver, we knew it would eventually break. And it did. It did. It hit it hit record numbers last week, and then it went down. Did it go down because the big banks are they're scrambling in total desperation because they need to go ahead and cash out on their assets, right? So again, you have choices. 1 cup of fancy coffee at a coffee shop or 3 XRPs. Today it's 3 XRPs. Tomorrow it could be 2 XRPs. The choice is yours. And is President Trump going to convert the old, dusty, nasty financial big bank system, because again, he's moving everything over to the new system? Is it going to happen after the tariff deal gets heard by SCOTUS and gets approved and everything starts to roll, right? The timing is the timing is interesting, very interesting. We're in the last week of October, and we're going to be rolling into some big stuff going on next month, early next month. Remember, President Trump, when he was talking about saving the world, it's his life passion. He's preparing for this battle his entire life. Now that we see all of this, he truly meant it. I'm going to play this real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been preparing my entire life for this battle. We did such a great job 4 years ago. We were unfairly interrupted. Let's be nice about it.
Stole the election, but again, staying on point, he said that back in September of 2023, 2 years ago. So President Trump has been working very hard with the authorities to take down the dirty, nasty swamp. And he is now bringing in something completely different and rolling you and giving you opportunities to get in on the action from its inception. And that is the biggest blessing that we can really appreciate. Some might say, I don't have the money for this. Again, you have choices, guys. Everyone has a choice. Even if when many people said, I don't have money to buy 1 share of this or 1 share of that. Then there's the other spectrum where it's like, man, I am going to do whatever I want. There's this lady I know, she had said, I'm going to get myself my own gel manicure set. She motivated me. For every $120, $140 with the tip or whatever she saves, she's going to buy different kinds of assets. And she has built from her $50 investment for her gel set, okay, she has built her portfolio of assets now, and I'm so happy and so proud of her. But she inspired me to do the same thing, and I just started just recently doing that, just saying, oh, let me just do that. Okay, so guys, choices, choices, choices. Those are the choices that we have. How we want to really walk into this level of prosperity and helping, and again, most people that'll get there with the prosperity, foreign currencies, XRP, whatever, different types of alternative investments. Again, my opinion only, a lot of them are really looking about how they can help others. And that's the big difference that we're facing, is a different way of working, a different way of this world running. It will be absolutely glorious. God bless you so abundantly. I am actually going to call it quits for the evening, and I will have a show very soon. God bless you. Have a beautiful day, afternoon, and please thank our Lord in heaven for all these wonderful opportunities that keep coming our way. God bless you. Have a beautiful evening, and I'll have a show soon. Aloha.